Hey guys, what's up? Excoundrel here. Welcome to my guide on installing and translating Pubg Mobile. We're going to do it for both Android and iOS, and then we're going to go through the menu and setting systems and try and translate as much as we can for you. So, let's start with the very basics. First of all, you're going to have either an Android device or an iOS device. Now, we're going to subcategorize this into tablets as well. The tablets, you only have to do one extra step if you want to. It's not that big of a deal, but with the phones, it's pretty simple. Android is the most simple to get Pubg on your mobile with, so we're going to start with Android. So let's have a look at what you need to get started before we get into how to download Pubg. You're just going to need WeChat. WeChat is basically a Chinese version of WhatsApp in a way. It's a little bit more complex than that, but WeChat is a messaging app. I'm sure a lot of you have used this before, but you're going to need a WeChat account to get onto mobile Pubg. So what you're going to want to do is go to your browser after you've downloaded WeChat and made an account and go through to this website on Android. So you want to go to your mobile browser, you're going to go www.taptap.com, and then when you get to taptap.com, it'll bring up this kind of website on your phone. You're just going to want to search Pubg, and then Pubg is going to bring up these different apps here. The app that we are currently using is this one, which is the one with the black background. This is the Lightspeed Pubg version. There are two versions of Pubg on the Chinese App Store at the moment. One of them is Lightspeed and one of them is by Timmy. Lightspeed is the one that is generally kind of taking off in terms of popularity. So this is the one that you want to get your hands on. All you're going to need to do is download the APK from TapTap. Once it's downloaded, you're going to install it. You're going to use your WeChat account to log in, and hey bingo, you'll be on the main screen. The only extra function that you're going to need to do for a tablet is download WeChat for your tablet. You're going to go to a point where you have an option to log in through tablet only or phone and tablet. Click phone and tablet and it will bring up a QR code. Then go to your phone, go into WeChat, which you're already logged into. Click Discover, scan QR code. You hover your camera over the QR code. It will recognize it and it will log you in to your tablet or whatever you're using. You can then use that tablet login on the Pubg app on your tablet, and hey bingo, you're into the main screen. iOS is a little bit more complicated. The good thing is that you're going to need WeChat. You're going to need WeChat, which you can get from your App Store from wherever you are in the world, so download WeChat and make an account before we get going. The second part that you're going to need is a Chinese Apple ID. Now this is a bit more complicated. If you don't already have one of these, or you don't have access to one of these, you're going to have to create your own, and that's going to involve you signing out of your Apple ID that you're currently in, and creating a new Apple ID, selecting China as your region, and going through those steps. If it requires an address, you just find an address in China, like a random hotel address or something. Same with phone number, and you want to select no credit card information because it's unlikely that you'll have a credit card tied to a Chinese bank account, for instance. Once you're logged into your account, it will prompt you to go straight to the Chinese App Store, or if you create a new account, you should be able to access the Chinese App Store. In the Chinese App Store, what we're going to go down to is we're going to go to the search function. We're going to search Pubg, just like we did on the TapTap, and we're going to find the two apps that we want. The one that we want is on the left-hand side, the Lightspeed one. You can try out both, but I think the general consensus is that Lightspeed is the better version of the two so far, and that's the one that you're going to want to download. You're going to then want to open it, use the WeChat logon to get onto the game and get into the app. Just some very final notes before we move on. Again, if you have a tablet, what you're going to want to do is download WeChat on your tablet. You're going to then want to sign in with phone and tablet. Go to your mobile, use the Discover function and QR code scanner, get the QR code from the tablet, scan it, and then that should link your phone WeChat account to your tablet account, and you can log in that way through your tablet. Another note, something that I forgot and didn't do when I logged in, when you finally get to the login status and you get to creating your character, there'll be a small box on the bottom that allows you to name your character. If you do not name your character, you will get assigned a name based on the name of your WeChat account. If you do name your character, you won't be sad like me. So we're going to go through the main menu now. As you can see, it's all in Chinese. I have looked at some videos, tried to get a number of videos together to get the best possible translations. I've also asked a couple of friends to help me translate. And we're going to try and go through all the most important parts. Top left, you can see big flashing golden button, that's play. So you have to select the mode below that, but when you want to start a game, that's the button that you press. Below that, it currently says solo. So this button that I've got here with a tick, that is solo. Below that is duo, and below that is squads. So this is duo here. I click on this, and this is squads. The button below that you have the little diamond that you can turn off and on, that is auto match. So that's going to match you with other people. If you have it tagged on, you can turn it off if you want to turn it off. This is exit, and this over here is tutorial. So you've got the exit lobby and the tutorial too. Down in the bottom left is obviously the friends button. To add a friend, you go down to the bottom of these options and you type the friend that you want to add in here. If I just search hello, there you go. There's someone called hello, level 31. I could add them if I wanted to. If I want to accept a friend, they usually come up on this first thing here, and I think you can accept a friend that way. This button next to the friends list, I believe, is invite friend. So I can see Dowsy right there. I want to invite Dowsy to my squad. If he was online, I'd be able to invite him. I can also go straight to his profile page and view things that I don't understand in Chinese. But I'm sure in the Western version that would be your profile page that has your stuff like your rank and that kind of thing, your KDA, all that kind of stuff. There is a message box here, if which I wanted to talk Chinese, which I can't. And obviously then a scrolling message box, you can see it on the bottom. Over in the bottom right, so we're working round like this, we have what is essentially a quests or achievements tab. You fulfill certain conditions and you can work up towards getting a free crate. And these are like event specific quests as well. So these seem like event specific requests. You can see up here, it's got time periods on it. So this is the time periods where these specific quests are available for. So the left is the achievements quest tab that's always going to be there. On the right is like event or time specific quests. If you are looking to get something from the time specific quest but you don't know how to activate it, if you click on that button, down the right hand side there'll be a red dot on some of these tabs that I'm now tapping on. That red dot signifies that you've got something to turn in. These buttons here that are, just the ones below that I'm turning the tick on and off on, they will be golden if you can trade something in. So if you want to do that, you can trade something in that way. Having a look here, this is basically just another screen for the time-specific quests. So these are some of the things that you can get between certain time periods. This, for instance, is your daily login rewards. But obviously they can click on things. I can't go on to the Valentine Lover event anymore because that's over. But these are all time-specific event quests that you could have got. Looking here is your sort of first comer reward. That essentially I haven't really figured out what it does, and I don't really click on it because you don't need to. Going down a bit further, this is another one of those time-specific quests. This one here is, I believe, you can open crates that get you certain things here, and then that might unlock you a skirt. That's probably about as far as I've got. But these, again, they're kind of not really... They're surplus to requirements of actually playing the game. This right here is for sharing. So if you share to WeChat or something else, I think you get rewards. So that's the share rewards down there. And this is your daily login bonus at the bottom. So your daily login bonus, every day that you log in, you're going to get an extra pair. I've so far got 100 of these gold coins and a shirt because I've only been playing for 2 days. But you see, all the way up to 8, you can get some sunglasses. But yeah, so the main ones that you need to work on here is if you want to participate in the events with a specific time period. This is this one, and the bottom one, which is your daily login rewards, which is good. And if you can share, then you can use the share option there. Let's have a look. The profile, that brings up the profile that I could see on Derry's screen. Now we're going to look at the top and talk about what all this is. This is currently your squad, who's in your squad. Currently, I think that says that I don't have a squad, I think, not sure. We also have your ranking, or just ranking in general, so you can see the top ranked people for solos, the duo top ranking, and the squad top ranked players. As you can see, then you can compare your ranking down the bottom. We then have storage, which is basically the clothes that you own. So this is what you can do. You can change your clothes. It's pretty self-explanatory from this point forward. To put on like a little tank top thingy, and then got trousers, all that kind of stuff there. You can change the parachute theme that you have, and if you have any crates to open, you can do it. Oh, I got a timed skirt apparently. So I think that's a timed thing, but we'll put it on. I got 150. So if I want to change that, I can go back up here and put it on. It's got like a time. It's got like a time period on it. I think that either means it's a time-specific event reward, or it might run out eventually. But hey, I've got it. And now I look like a really burly MMA fighter with a skirt on, which looks great. We also have the messages up here. You can see they come with attachments. So if you have a little paperclip on your messages, just make sure that you accept it because it's just got free stuff on it. You can see it just gives you loads of free things. Don't know what these do, but I'm just going to click on them. Usually I just click on all of the messages for no apparent reason because, you know, why not? And then obviously, self-explanatory, we've got the settings wheel in the top right, and we'll click on that in just a second. So very quickly going through the general settings, as this is the easiest one to get through. Top is your reticle or your crosshair color. I go for green because I personally prefer it. Auto aim turned on. Recommend the best heal turned on. Now I haven't really noticed how much auto aim impacts my play. You can really notice it in Rules of Survival. Haven't noticed it that much in PUBG Mobile, but regardless, I keep it on because it can't hurt. Next is the left-hand side fire button, which is the button that goes on the left-hand side of your screen to fire. Usually you have it on the right-hand side, but this is one you can optionally have on the left-hand side. I keep it on at all times. I like that kind of versatility. Next is Gyroscope, which is essentially using your phone's gyroscope to help you aim. Turn it off. Awful. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. Swiping much more accurate, but I guess if you're on a small phone, it might help you. So I turn the gyroscope off, which is all the way to the right-hand side. And leaning functions. Now, people turn the leaning functions off for some reason. I think the leaning functions are incredible. I put them on. Same as I do in Rules of Survival. That allows you to lean from side to side with your weapon, allowing you to peek around corners, and especially in the third-person mode can be very useful. The next is display settings or graphic settings. Some of you will see 3 options on this page. The option on the bottom is called display mode, and that will only be on certain models of phones. And that basically changes the way that the colors look, and what it will look like is classic, colorful, and realistic. So you'll have basically 4 options where you have no theme, you have classic, you have colorful, and you have realistic. So that is only available on certain phone models or certain tablet models. I've not got it on my iPad here. The top is frame rate settings. That basically dictates how many frames per second your device can put out, how many frames per second the app is allowing your device to put out. The higher it is, the more likely it is going to drain your battery and your heat, but I have mine constantly connected to a charger, so I have mine on the highest frame rate settings, which is best for streaming and best for capturing content for YouTube. But obviously, if you guys are worried about battery consumption and how your phone can handle a high frame rate, you can turn this down. Next is the graphical settings. Now, the graphical settings, you need to restart the app to take effect. I personally have it on the lowest graphical settings. Not only does I think that helps me target enemies due to the fact that you're not going to have cluttered textures in game, but it also means it's a lot smoother to play, so it helps me for when I stream and for when I play YouTube content with it. However, you can put it all the way up to the top graphical setting, and I will show you that, guys, in a separate video. It is very nice. The problem with the top graphical setting right now is sometimes when you zoom in on a 4x or an 8x scope, the frame rate is really bad. It means it's aiming down a 4x and an 8x is difficult, so I put it all the way down to smooth, and my frame rate is really good, and in terms of performance, I'm at a very high level. These next couple of settings are pretty self-explanatory. It basically just dictates where you want your fire button to be and how you control sort of viewing in terms of sort of firing and aiming and stuff like that. The classic is the left-hand side one. That's very much like Rules of Survival, where you control just by swiping, and the fire button is in the bottom right-hand corner. I would recommend that if you're used to Rules of Survival, but feel free to test the other options out as well. Next is the driving settings. Now, the driving settings all the way on the left are like the Rules of Survival settings, and it means that the left-hand side of the screen is concerned for going backwards and forwards, so you sort of swipe up on the left-hand side of the screen to go forwards, and the right-hand side of the screen is for going left and right, and you can switch that over by clicking this button here, and that switches them over. The second is like the analog stick driving in Rules of Survival, where you get 360-degree control, but it can be quite difficult to get much else out of it. And this one here is the one that I have been using. You get a virtual steering wheel on the left-hand side of the screen, which you just swipe left and right. You don't have to touch the steering wheel. You can kind of do it anywhere on the screen. And then you have the ability to accelerate, reverse, and handbrake on the right-hand side of the screen. So you get a much higher degree of control, but it is a little bit harder to get your head round. So as I've just go over that quickly again, I use the classic setting in terms of the way that you operate, look around, and shoot, and I use the advanced driving setting because I think it gives you the greater degree of control. Now, this is one of the more important parts of the settings. This is your sensitivity settings, meaning this is going to dictate how quickly you kind of move from left to right when swiping on the screen. Obviously, if you're used to very high response, you'll have your sensitivity higher. If you're used to being more accurate and slower but longer swipes to get the job done, then you want it lower. The options at the top are low, moderate, and high, and that will auto-select things for you. And on the very, very far right, you'll have an option called custom, which is what I have chosen. Now, I've asked a lot of people about this, and I'm still struggling to understand the differences between all these sort of scope sensitivity and all that kind of stuff. But from what I can work out is the top is the camera sensitivity when you're not scoped. So this is the camera sensitivity when you're not scoped. The top setting there is unscoped sensitivity, and then the rest of the sensitivity is the red dot, the iron sight, and the holographic. And then the 2 with the Chinese symbols is the 2x scope. Then you have the 4x in the VSS, which has automatically got a 4x scope. And then you have the 8x scope. And you can see these are my settings: 80% unscoped sensitivity, 50%, 30%, 14%, 10%. And I think that has suited me perfectly fine so far, but obviously feel free to touch around with it depending on what you want to do. Then going down, this is the part that I don't quite understand. Apparently this is now scoped sensitivity. So we've had camera sensitivity when unscoped. This is now scoped camera sensitivity, but then the top still says, from what I can work out, exactly the same as the previous, which I think is scoped. And so these are all the same responses. I just did the same thing, and it seems to be working out for me. So I literally just copied the same sensitivity settings from my previous. And at the bottom, I believe, is the gyroscope sensitivity. So I could put this to whatever the hell I want, because realistically, it doesn't affect me because I'm not using the gyroscope. But if you are using the gyroscope, the bottom settings are for the gyroscope sensitivity. So when you tilt your phone, that's how sensitive it will be. And feel free to use exactly the same settings, because this is, again, just unscoped, red dot, iron sight, 2x, 4x VSS, and 8x. So I'll just quickly hover over my 2 sensitivity settings for a little bit, let you guys have a look at that. As you can see, I've copied both my sensitivity across all of them, the higher sensitivity being unscoped, and you would imagine it scaling down for the more scoped in you get. This option is all about auto pickup settings. Apparently auto pickup is so important that it gets this entire section to itself. On the left-hand side, it's deciding whether you want auto pickup turned on or off. I personally have mine off. I'll explain about that in a minute. The right-hand option only matters if you have auto pickup turned on, and that is, if you have auto pickup turned on, do you want it to auto pickup even if you don't have the loot displayed when you click on the little loot symbol in-game? So it'll pick up things if you just walk over them normally. I have got auto pickup turned off because I like to have more control over what I pick up and put in my inventory. I think space management can be important. But if you like to just run over guns and have them picked up for you and just say, hey, I've got a gun now, you can have auto pickup turned on, and you can have auto pickup turned on even if you don't have the loot symbol enabled. What the benefit of auto pickup is, for the very start of the game, if you just run over a gun, it will just pick up the first gun that you run over, which is really great if you're just walking off or really close quarters with someone. Otherwise, I feel like it's a bit of a detriment, and I've got it turned off for the most part. The text below it, I believe, is literally just describing what kind of equipment that it's going to pick up and how it ranks equipment and what it's going to replace. But I have mine turned off, so it doesn't really matter. But you guys can experiment with auto pickup and see how it works for you. So this is the volume settings. You have main volume, you have, which is volume, controls all volume in the game. You have sound effect volume, you have interface volume, and you also have background volume. Background volume is like background music and that kind of stuff. I have that turned off because it's obnoxiously loud, so I have that turned off. Everything else I just have kept the same as it stands. I don't really know if I want to change it yet. Next is voice channels. This is kind of like, do you want to be in team only voice chat or all voice chat? I've set mine to team only. I'm one of those people that hates talking to people because I'm antisocial, but also obviously you get a lot of like screaming and screeching and memes if you go into a solo game and you have all voice chat turned on. So it's up to you. If you want to hear that kind of stuff, you can have all voice chat turned on. If you want to just have team only, you can turn it on. So it's up to you. I've also got my microphone turned off, but you can turn your microphone off, and you can also have the speaker, so you can actually turn microphone on or off. Apparently, I haven't got a microphone, so it doesn't matter, but this is an iPad, that makes sense. But you can have a microphone turned on, you can have your speaker turned on for voice chat too, if you want to. Next is the recording settings. Now, these are 2 options. You have record my winning moments automatically, and they will get stored down on the silver button, which you can see has got a video symbol on it. Will store your auto-recorded winning moments down there for you. Or there is free record, which allows you to record at any point in the game. You can only have one of these turned on at either time. So if you've got auto winning moment turned on, you can't have free record turned on. If you've got free record turned on, you can't have auto record my winning moment turned on. So depending on which one you want to do. If you're lazy, you don't think you're going to be able to turn on the recording button at the right time, have auto record turned on. Or if you're good in game and you know that you want to record your whole game or whatever, turn on the free record button. I don't need these personally because I use a capture card and OBS, but if you don't have that kind of equipment and you want to make videos or you want to share these moments on social media, these are the settings for you.